Is this straight? I would be a lot more festive than I currently look, but it is so hot outside right now, and it does not feel like winter. It does not feel like Christmas. It feels like summer, and I'm so mad. I hate it here. And I was like gonna wear like a Santa's hat, and I was gonna be all cute, you know what I mean? But then I was like, do I want to trap any more heat in my body? Absolutely not. So that's not what we're doing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Jalen. I am one half of Jalen and Emily. Emily will be back with more videos in the new year. So thank you for everyone who has asked and been wondering where she's been. She's had a really chaotic and crazy semester. And right now she's visiting her family for the holidays. So she's not really filming. But thank you again for just wondering and caring, because I know it means so much to her. So let's get into this video. Today I'm going to be doing a 2020 Unwrapped, looking at all the books that I read this year. And yeah, we're going to be breaking it down. I'll be breaking down like the genres that I gravitated towards, whether I read authors of color, more female authors, more male authors, all of that. And I think that this is at least important for me because I really want to make it a point to be intentional about the things that I'm reading, because I know that like the things that I read really impact my mindset and really impact who I am as a person, and I want to grow and develop and challenge myself. So I want to make sure that I'm reading books that help me do that. So anyways, let's get in. We have some pretty surprising things, honestly. Like when I was doing my breakdown, I was kind of shook, you know what I mean? Because apparently I don't know myself as well as I thought I did. So I don't know. So I'm gonna be screen recording and putting it up on the side of the video of my Goodreads account, because Goodreads actually does like a my year in books, and they break down everything, and it's really fun. I know that I need to charge my iPad. Like I know, I see it 6%. It's kind of scary. So this year I read 60 books out of my goal of 40. So I'm really excited about that. We have quarantine to thank, because I definitely would not have been reading that many books if it hadn't been for all the time that I had on my hands. I read 22,006 pages. And my shortest book was 84 Charing Cross Road, which I actually have right next to me, by Helene Hanff. It's 97 pages. It's literally the cutest thing ever. Highly recommend. I read it every year. It's so cute, so fun, so wholesome, so sweet, all the things. It is nonfiction. It's a memoir type of book, I guess, like autobiographical, I guess. That's that. And then my longest book was, are we surprised? No, absolutely not. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Here she is, the man myth. This is her. She's gigantic, and I loved her so much. Look at that flop. Can we just? Emily and I buddy read this, I think in like August. I don't know if she's finished it yet, but I finished it. And it was so good. It was an adult fantasy novel, and it was just everything that I wanted. There's 4 different points of views that we alternate between. And I don't really want to say anything because I kind of went into this blind, and I think that's the best way to go into this type of fantasy novel. It is absolutely incredible. I love the world, and I just loved all of the characters. Like, can we just be honest? And I plan on rereading this in the new year. I definitely think that it was just so much fun, and I want to be reading more adult fantasy novels because apparently, just looking at my breakdowns, I really like me some YA fantasy, and that's just not gonna work for me. You know what I mean? I'm not YA. I'm not in high school. I'm just not about those types of books anymore, so I really want to see if I can get into like adult fantasy novels. The next thing that I really want to read is Poppy War. Sabine from Sabine's Book Nook was talking about it, and it sounded so interesting and so much fun, and really like how she was explaining it was just like there was like so many layers and so many dynamics, and I just like, that's what I'm here for. I'm here for all the layers, you know what I mean? And yeah, so there's that. There's that. All right, let's see. My average book length was 366 pages. My most popular book was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which was a reread that I did in like March-ish. And then I mean, that feels like 5 years ago, honestly, March, like where that doesn't even feel like that happened this year, like just absolutely crazy. And then my least popular book that I read was Washed and Waiting, Reflections on Christian Faithfulness and Homosexuality by Wesley Hill. And then my average rating for 2020 was 3.8. So let's see what it was for last year. I think that's pretty interesting. Like, I thought that I rated things pretty highly this year, but apparently, well, I mean, thinking about Bunny by Mona Awad, I mean, I could really drop that rating down right now to 1 star. Okay, so for last year, it was 4.0. So that's like a 1 point less. Oh, can I do math? No! Oh my God, 2 points. Sorry, my B. My highest rated book on Goodreads that I read was Know My Name by Chanel Miller, which was a memoir. Absolutely incredible. I gave that book 5 out of 5 stars. And my first review of the year was Me Talk Pretty One Day by David Sedaris, which was also kind of like a memoir book. It's like really funny. It's like a comedy. He's hilarious, and I remember really enjoying that. Apparently, I said this book has me in all caps dying. I can't wait to read more from David Sedaris. And then this is all the books that I read this year. Wow, this was just honestly so much fun. And my last review of the year was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Aw, cute. That was also a reread, which I loved. All right, so there's that. While I really like what Goodreads does, I think that they need to add more categories. Like, I want to see genre. I want to see like diversity. Like, that's what I want to see. And so I took it into my own hands to do all of that. Because I think that's really important. Like I was saying earlier, being intentional about what you read is super, super important. And, something that I want to continue into the new year. So I did that. You know what I mean? I did that. So let's see. So I put together like a list of all the genres. So I'm going to go through real quick the genres that I put all my books in. So we have memoir, we have nonfiction, mystery, thriller, horror. I put like all that together. And then YA fantasy, adult fantasy, fiction, and romance. So there's that. For my category with the most books in it, I have 18 books in that category. I think I'm gonna try to like put some pie charts, you know what I mean? To like make me look super, you know, cool. So yeah, I was really surprised that I read 18 books in that genre. I really thought, like before I made this, when I was just like thinking about the books that I read this year, maybe just because I read a lot of memoirs in this like later part of the year, I really thought that I read more memoirs. I thought that was gonna be like my highest genre. But then apparently I love me some good mystery, thriller, horror. We got 18 books in there. That's a lot of books. Let me see if there's any new releases. Did Bunny come out this year? Anyone know? I don't know. But if it did, what a dumpster fire that was. Unpopular opinion maybe, but like I did not enjoy that at all. I thought that was the weirdest book I've ever read in my entire life. Okay, so then my second highest genre was YA fantasy, which like I said earlier, I was really surprised to see, because I didn't think that I read that many YA fantasy books. I didn't think that I read that much YA, and then here she is at 13 books in that genre. So for new releases in that category, it was Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, which I read in the beginning of the year. I totally forgot about that, but I remember liking it. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars or something like that. I love the Shadowhunter world. I've been reading the book since middle school, so it's just been really fun that Cassandra Clare has been able to expand this world so much. And the Dark Artifices, which is like Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, Queen of Air and Darkness is my favorite trilogy. Absolutely incredible. Queen of Air and Darkness is so good. All right, and then Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes is also in that. I put that under YA fantasy. Is that technically adult? I don't think so, because like when I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, Suzanne Collins wrote The Hunger Games. Hunger Games is YA. I'm just gonna categorize that the same. So Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes was on there by Suzanne Collins, and wow. another dumpster fire of a book. Not as bad as Bunny by Mona Awad. I mean, it's just gonna be like a Mona Awad Bunny hate video. No, it's not. But I probably will say this more and more as the video goes on, but I really did not enjoy that book. Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, though, I have a whole review video on it. It was okay. It wasn't great. Not what I was really expecting or what I really wanted for like a prequel book. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is, you know. And I think that's it for that category for new releases that came out this year. Let's see. After that, so we have mystery, thriller, horror coming in at 18 books, YA fantasy at 13, and then memoirs at 9. And let's see, I don't think there's any new releases in, no. After that is adult fantasy, which Pryor of the Orange Tree came out last year, so that, or maybe 2018, so that's not a new release. I didn't read any new releases in that category as well. But like I said, Pryor of the Orange Tree, which was an adult fantasy, was incredible. Highly, 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 highly recommend. So good. So good. Okay, but like, can we talk about like this like New York Times bestseller? Like, why does every book say that? Like, this is not a hard list to get on, apparently. Like, that means nothing to me at all. Like, New York Times bestseller, okay. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyways, that was a random, but love this book so much. And then after that was nonfiction. I read Be the Bridge. I read a lot of race-related books in that category. And then I have fiction, where that one I put like Pride and Prejudice and kind of like classic books in that category. The Vanishing Half, which came out this year. Here she is, the beauty, the star. The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I love this book so much. I raved about it in my July wrap-up. I loved it. It was so incredible. I plan on rereading this in the new year. I really want to read The Mothers by Britt Bennett, which is like her first novel. But like, holy moly, this was incredible. And definitely up there in like my top 10 favorite books of this year. So there's that. I think that's it for new releases in that category. And then my least, I'm out of book category. My least populated category was the romance. So I read The Hating Game and Get a Life, Chloe Brown. And The Hating Game I actually gave 5 out of 5 stars by Sally Thorne. It was so, so, so good. And they're making a movie. Lucy Hale is in that, and it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good and just like so cute. Like, that book, there was no substance. It just was cute, fun. I enjoyed it. I needed it at the time that I read it. So yeah, so this is it in order. Mystery, thriller, horror coming at 18 books. YA fantasy at 13. Memoir at 9. Adult fantasy at 5. Nonfiction at 4. Fiction at 4. And romance at 2. So there's that. Just looking at that, I definitely need to do some rearranging, because I definitely don't want, 18 books in mystery, thriller, horror, like, that's a lot of books. I definitely want to start reading a lot more memoirs, because I think that just like hearing people's stories and just reading them is, it just like, I don't know, it makes me really, really, really emotional. Like, I just love me a good memoir, just hearing people's journeys and their struggles and how they got from where they were to how they are now. It's just, I love to see that growth, and I think we can take a lot away from memoirs. So I definitely want to be reading more memoirs in the new year. I also want to be reading a lot more nonfiction books, so like more race-related books. I definitely want to increase that, because one of my passions is race-related issues, and I need that to be reflective in every aspect of my life, and it's not right now. One of my passions is just to work with children in the school system and to help them grow academically and emotionally, and obviously in that is just all the issues that we see in the school system with the school to prison pipeline, the overrepresentation of minority children in that, and children with disabilities, all of that. So I definitely need to do, make sure that the reading that I'm doing is reflective of my passions and of my goals and of my interests. So yeah, still I want to have fun, read some adult fantasy, but I do want to increase my nonfiction reading and my memoirs. So there's that. Okay, so next I broke it down into diversity. So I did authors of color / diversity reads, and I only read 8 books. in that category this year, 8 out of 60 is not gonna work for me. And I know Emily and I were talking about this in the beginning of the year, just like how we needed to diversify our bookshelf. And I think that seeing that like actually like in my face on paper is hopefully a wake-up call, and I'll be able to in the future, you know, invest in more books that are from authors of color and more diversity reads and all of that. So next I have female authors, and I have 26 books by female authors in that, and 21 by male authors. So obviously if like you know, you're doing the math and you're like, that doesn't equal 60. I only did series as one book. So like the Hunger Games trilogy, I only did as one, you know. But honestly, I'm pretty impressed by that. I like that there's 26 books by female authors. I think that, you know, they're pretty close. So I think that was pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So then next that I wanted to do was I wanted to just talk about my favorite books of the year and then my least favorite books of the year. And I mean, if you have made it this far, I think you know what my least favorite book of the year is. It was definitely Bunny by Mona Awad, or The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. I gave The Death of Mrs. Westaway 1 star, and I gave Bunny 2 stars, surprisingly, which I might bump that down. But honestly, like, I'm thinking about it, at least I can say that Bunny had an interesting concept. You know what I mean? Like, The Death of Mrs. Westaway was just boring from like page 1, but I pushed through. Somehow I pushed through. But yeah, there's that. Least favorite books of the year, kind of unpopular opinion. Like, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm sorry if you enjoyed both of those books. I know that Noelle actually enjoyed both of those books, and she was the reason why I read them. And then like when I read them, I was like, Noelle, leading me astray right now. No, I'm just kidding. I just, you know, they just weren't my cup of tea. Honestly, they just weren't my cup of tea. But my favorite books of the year, I mean, I already talked about all of them in other videos before, but coming at number 1 is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. What a powerful, powerful memoir. She talks about her sexual abuse case that she went through, I think in 2015. And yeah, it was absolutely just so heartbreaking and raw and vulnerable, and her writing is honestly fantastic. And I actually just bought it. It's coming in tomorrow because I want to reread it again this year before the year's over. Like, I'm going to reread it. It was just that great. I think about it every day, and I think it's really important. Like, everyone needs to read it. So that was coming in number 1. Number 2 is, I'm gonna say, The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, because I just had so much fun. And I just like loved that I was able to get out of like, you know, our world and just like go into this fantasy land with dragons and magic and love and all of the things. It was so good. And I also just loved the representation in the book. Absolutely incredible. The next one coming in number 3 is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Holy moly, I talked about this like 2 seconds ago, but I love it. I love it so much. It was so great. And then the last one, wait, should I talk about what this is about? You guys know? Yeah, The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett is about 2 twin sisters. They're both passing as white, and they go on to lead completely separate lives. One of the sisters marries a black man, has a child, and does that. And then the other twin sister actually passes as, like, she just completely tries to pass as white, and she marries like this rich, wealthy white man, lives in like a very white community, and has a lot of racist things, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I love especially just their kids actually end up meeting later on in the book, and you just get to see yeah, all of that happens, and how the 2 family trees kind of cross together, and it's just incredible, so good. I cried a couple times in this novel, so, because, you know, the colorism is so real, and it's definitely something that I experienced in my life. So there's that. And then the next one coming in number 4 is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Yeah, everyone was raving about this book, and I was like, I have to read it, and I did, and it was so much fun. I actually listened to the audiobook and it's narrated by Will Wheaton, and it's incredible. I got it off of Libby. It is so good. Highly recommend. And I don't think I have like a number 5. Like let me look again on my Goodreads real quick. Like let's look. I just really loved The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. It was just so good. I also really liked I didn't rate this one just because it's nonfiction, but it's Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria by Beverly Daniel Tatum. And yeah, I actually used this book for school. I have a lot of like the pages dog-eared and stuff. I did my presentation this year on like it was, the whole question was if I teach my child from an underrepresented race about stereotypes and racism, how would that affect their development? And this book talked all about that. So it was really interesting. But yeah, this one or The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, completely opposite ends of the spectrum. But I really enjoyed both of them. The Hating Game, like I said earlier, was just super fun and super cute. So yeah, there's that video. Oh, I did want to add like a little sprinkle of music into this as well, just because I did get my 2020 Unwrapped like title from like Spotify's Unwrapped. And yeah, so let's talk about let's do top 4 favorite songs of the year. All right, so coming at number 4 is Just Like Magic by Ariana Grande off of her new Positions album. I love that song. It makes me really happy, and it's just super fun, and I just be bopping. Like, I have it like cranked all the way up in my car, and I'm just like, just like magic, ayy, just like magic, ayy. Middle finger to my thumb and then I stop it. Hey. You know what I mean? That got me jamming. Love that song. Coming at number 3 is, I think it's gonna be Where Do I Go by Lizzie McAlpine. I love her so much. She is a relatively like unknown artist, I guess. But yeah, she was in my top 5 artists of the year, because she's just so great and amazing, and her songwriting is so good. Love that song. Coming at number 2 is Tattoo Tears by Isla. It actually came out this year as well. All of these songs came out this year, and she's also a relatively unknown artist, and that song is just incredible. It's just so much fun, and yeah, I love her. She also has another song called Juice. It didn't come out this year, but it's so good. So good. And then coming at number 1, I mean, are we surprised that it's my girl Taylor Swift? But which one? You know what I mean? Because she came out with 2 albums this year. 2 albums. Like, were we ready? No! But yeah, I loved Folklore and Evermore so much. I liked Folklore a lot better than Evermore, not gonna lie. But I still loved both albums so much. She is honestly the most talented artist I think out there right now. Just love everything about her. Honestly, I'm a stan. I'm a 100% stan. Like, I have been a stan since before Speak Now. But Speak Now is really where like my obsession started. Like, can we be honest? Anyways, we're getting off track. Coming at number 1 of my favorite song of the year that was released is Cowboy Like Me by Taylor Swift. Now, I know like that's probably not what everyone was expecting, because she has so many amazing songs on both of these 2 albums, but that song just honestly has brought me so much joy. It makes me happy, and it's just so much fun. Like, my favorite part where she's like, you had some tricks up your sleeve. Takes 1 to know 1. You're a cowboy like me. Okay, I was gonna go through the whole song, but I just think it's so fun. It's so fun. I love it so much. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, thank you. I will see you in the next one, and I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I know the holidays can be really hard for a lot of families, mine included. So thinking of you, and thanks guys for watching. Bye.